Cool.
You've been seen driving on North Road, driven away from police at excessive speeds. You've overtaken vehicles dangerously, driven on the wrong side of the road, and driven through red lights. You don't currently hold a driving licence and therefore do not have insurance to be driving a vehicle. So this is Exhibit 001 from PC Simpson.
This is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel, and this video is sponsored by Maurice Andrews Solicitors, Birmingham. Get in touch today for the best legal representation. This first story comes from Durham Police, where they were trying to combat illegal bike riders. In the Darlington area, Karl Burnside reached speeds of 80 miles an hour when he sped away from police motorcycle officers. During a lengthy pursuit, the 20-year-old ran red lights, rode on the wrong side of the road, and entered a park filled with unsuspecting pedestrians. When the officers briefly lost sight of him, Burnside crashed his bike into a river. Freezing cold and unable to speak coherently, he was quickly found nearby and arrested by Darlington's police team officers.
So left on the Fair Tree Lane.
Hello, permission? Just checking how many two-pack units we've got going to this place.
315 North Road. 319 Horton Road. 315 permission. Stand by, it's high risk, wrong side of the roundabout. At the low risk, A1150 towards Great Burden. Medium risk performing overtakes, A1150 towards Great Burden, speed is 70. Vehicle stone. Successful stay on both tyres. Speed is slow and went out 35 mile an hour. On the roundabout, it's not one. He's gone off road.
You okay? Right. Have you got any injuries?
I don't know, but it's really cold.
Right. You been in the water? Are you out? You're soaking. Come on. You hurt yourself?
Oh, shit, it's really cold.
Right. Okay. Sit down. Right. Steady. Sit down. Sit. Right, calm down. Right, you been in the water?
Cold.
I know, you're cold, but have you got any physical injuries?
No, I'm too cold.
Right, okay.
I need some... Who's going to sit there like that?
Last name Burnside, first name Karl.
He was taken to hospital to receive treatment for hypothermia before being charged with several driving offences, including dangerous driving, failure to stop by the police, and driving without a licence or insurance. He appeared at Newton Aycliffe Magistrates Court in Durham last week, and Burnside was banned from driving for 12 months, given a community order and fine, and made to carry out 300 hours of unpaid work. So make sure to let us know in the comments if you think the sentence was fair and if this is the best way to combat antisocial behaviour with bikes in local areas. Staying in the Durham area for this next story, where two care home workers abused the trust of the children that they were looking after. On October the 1st last year, Liam Ramsey and Stephen Hurst took a 15-year-old girl who was in their care into Durham city centre. CCTV captured the moment the pair arrived in Durham and they began visiting local pubs. To avoid detection, they used their personal bank cards to purchase alcohol and plied the victim with wine and cocktails throughout the day, and then they headed back to the care home. They made a detour to purchase £120 worth of Class A drugs, and Ramsey and Hurst then took the child back to the care home, where they continued to supply her with alcohol and gave her cocaine. The victim told police that because of the amount of cocaine that they had given her, she had a nosebleed and went upstairs. As the victim went upstairs, Ramsey came into the room naked, followed by Hurst, who was also naked. They subjected the victim to physical and sexual abuse throughout the evening into the early hours. Both Ramsey and Hurst were on duty at the time of the offences, being her carers for the day, and Liam Ramsey and Stephen Hurst were arrested after the victim left the care home following the ordeal. Police later charged Ramsey and Hurst with 18 offences, and they were remanded into custody. The pair made some admissions, but also denied many of the offences and were taken to trial. In April, the jury found Ramsey and Hurst guilty of numerous offences, including sexual activity with a child, intentional strangulation, and supplying Class A drugs. Ramsey, 40 years old from Sunderland, was jailed for 11 years, and Hurst, 46 years old from Richmond, was jailed for 9 years. Both men were placed on the sex offenders register for life. Detective Constable Beth Otte, who led the investigation, said, "This has been a long and demanding investigation involving a large team of dedicated police officers and staff who all work diligently to bring about the best possible result for the victim. Ramsey and Hurst should have been keeping the victim safe. Instead, they were the ones that groomed her, sexually assaulted her and abused her. She should have been able to trust them and she should have felt safe in their company. I would like to commend her for her bravery in coming forward and standing up against the perpetrators." I look forward to hearing what viewers have to say on that story. With this next story, we're going to go back down to London, where it's an update on a case that I covered yesterday, and somebody has been charged in relation to the fatal murder after a shooting in Croydon. Byron Cole, 39 years old, from Lambeth, has been charged with murder and possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. He has been remanded in custody and would appear at Bromley Magistrates on the 24th of June. An investigation was launched after police were called to reports of a shooting on Imperial Way at 5:05 Thursday the 19th of June. A man who they can now name as Anthony Morrison, who is 41 years old, was found with multiple gunshot wounds and was treated by paramedics but sadly died at the scene. So as I said, the main coverage of this story was yesterday, and it's a fast developing case, and now we've seen 2 people arrested, 1 person released pending further inquiries, and 1 man charged with murder. So rest in peace to Anthony Morrison, and we'll definitely keep you updated on the outcome of the trial that follows. In this next story, coming from Hackney in East London, a man has been charged with the murder of a woman inside her home following a gas explosion, and she was stabbed several times. Clifton George, 44 years old, from Dumont Road, Hackney, was charged on the 22nd of June with the murder of 46-year-old Annabel Rook. He was also charged with arson with intent to endanger life. He was remanded in custody at Thames Magistrates on the 23rd of June, and Annabel died on the 17th of June after being found with stab wounds at an address on Dumont Road, Hackney. A man was arrested at the scene, and shortly after police arrived, they took him to hospital with slash injuries. He was later discharged and released into police custody before being charged with Annabel's murder. Acting Chief Superintendent Brittany Clark, who is in charge of the Central East Basic Command Unit, said, "Our thoughts continue to remain with the family and friends of Annabel as they navigate through this devastating loss. We ask the public to refrain from speculation and to respect their privacy at this time." Police were called at 5 a.m. in the morning to reports of a gas explosion with a person trapped inside, and they attended along with the London Ambulance Service and the London Fire Brigade. Despite their best efforts, Annabel was sadly declared dead at the scene, and her family continued to be supported by specially trained police. So this is devastating news for the family, and the way that it's occurred as well. A gas explosion followed by a stabbing, and then the man that's done the stabbing allegedly has also injured himself. So I'm sure the court case will reveal a lot more details, but rest in peace to Annabel as well, and thank you to the viewers that reminded me that we'd missed this story yesterday. It's very important to make sure that we highlight all sorts of stories, especially violence against women that seems to be on the rise every single week. For this next story, I want to pay tribute to a man that has died following a wingsuit accident in the Swiss Alps. He's a British man, and he's a champion of the sport as well. His name is Liam Byrne, and he was only 24 years old. He was injured on a mountain in the Swiss Alps on Saturday after taking off from 7,874 feet. Mr. Byrne from Stonehaven in Aberdeenshire featured in a 2024 documentary called The Boy Who Can Fly. He was described as a very experienced flyer, And he used a wingsuit, which is a type of skydiving which involves wearing a special suit with webbing to allow mid-air lift, and completed over 4,000 jumps during his 10-year career. Mr. Byrne told the documentary at the time, "I think when I was about 13 I said to my dad that I wanted to learn to fly like a bird." Some of the videos that I've managed to find on his social media shows how good he was, and also how dangerous this actual sport is as well, where he's flying through mountains and closely hitting or nearly hitting rocks, and it's just a very brave thing to do, but at the same time many risks attached to it. Mr. Byrne had always been into extreme sports from a young age, and at 12 years old he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, which was a peak in Tanzania, Africa. Then he went on to dog sledge through the Arctic, scuba diving and multiple big summit climbs. At 16 he did his first skydive, and at 18 he did the wingsuit. His parents, Mike and Gillian, had confirmed to BBC Scotland News that their son had died on Saturday, and a family statement said, "We would like to remember Liam not for the way he left the world, but for how he lived it. Liam was fearless, not necessarily because he wasn't afraid, but because he refused to let fear hold him back. He chased life in a way that most of us only dream to, and he soared. Skydiving and base jumping was more than just a thrill to Liam. It was freedom. It was where he felt most alive." So my condolences to the family of Liam, and definitely a reminder of the risks that are associated to these sorts of sports, but at the same time also a reminder to live your life to the fullest. I really appreciate you joining me for these updates. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and follow on social media as well at Scarcity Studios, and I'll be back again very shortly. Peace.